Hey everybody! So, if you clicked on this video, you're probably struggling on Season 3's Astrolabe. Well, don't worry, I got you. But before we do start the video, I will tell you that I will have timestamps for each stage embedded in the video itself and in the comments below. But anyways, I will be using notations for each stage. So if a stage says it's M, that means it's in the middle. If it says R, that means it's on the right. And if it says L, it means it's on the left. But enough said, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the guide. So yeah, boys, let's go ahead and get started with the first Guardian Stella. So with this Stella, you're going to want to run a AoE DPS that's either fire, ice, or electric. In this case, I ran Closer, 4-star Closer as the main AoE DPS, followed by Soy, who's our pseudo debuffer, and our sustain, followed by Sepia, who's just there for some bonus chip damage. I will show you the persona rotations on the screen, but TLDR, you're going to be running Dionysus here for the crit rate buff, and Thor is just to randomly inflict shock so that you can abuse Closer's S3 damage. And as for turn order, you just want to have Closer going last, as she is your main DPS. Everyone else really doesn't matter as long as Closer is last. But without further ado, let's get into the run. Ikaze. Alrighty, boys, so let's go ahead and talk about this second Guardian Stella here, shall we? So, I know it says you want a Psi, Nuke, Bless, or a Curse AoE damage dealer, but you can easily get away with Wonder DPS using Yoshitsune as your main Wonder DPS persona. As long as you have R6 Abyss Fang or R6 Inferno, it can do the trick for the stage. As for roles, Tomoko here is our main strategist slash buffer. Sepia is just there for chip damage. Luful's kind of there for sustain. He can also semi-buff with Starfire. As for Okayon, she's just there for extra stats, so that Wonder can do more big PP damage. And I'll go ahead and show you the rev cards. As for personas, just run Yoshi and your 2 highest level personas as your second and third slot. Without further ado, let's get into the run. Alrighty, boys. So let's go ahead and talk about Guardian Stella 3 here. So this team is very simple. You're going to want to run a single target DPS that inflicts ailments. In this case, Makoto Nijima / Queen could do that. If you don't have your own Queen, just use the free one / trial one that they give you. And that should still do the trick. Mona is here for sustain. You can also inflict Windswept, which can be useful for ailments if you miss the Windswept with Makoto. And Mont really is just chip damage, because why not? Now, if you're missing out on damage with Makoto here, you can always insert Vino in Mont's slot if you need the extra ailments and debuffs. As for personas, Bishamonten is going to be your nuke amplifier persona. Dionysus, of course, is your rebellion bot. And if you need Yanoshik for Rakunda, it's actually not a bad idea. He is pretty good with Mark. But TLDR, your turn order is just have Makoto Nijima go last, and everything else before her really doesn't matter. As for the Wonder Dagger, just run Ex Machina, and of course make sure Bishamonten is your starter persona. But without further ado, boys, let's show you the run. Ikuze. Alrighty, boys, if you've made it this far, congratulations on making it to your first Purple Lord Stella. Now, I understand that this stage requires you to proc a shield on your main DPS, as so that they can get damage. But there's also another solution to avoid that. You can just run Wonder DPS with R6 Abyss Fang, while having 3 strategists on your team. In this case, Cord, strategist slash medic twins, and Wind Tempest. Now, let's say for example you don't have R6 Abyss Fang and a Overclock 3 Yoshitsune or something. Well, if you have A1 twins, you can always just run DPS Sweeper twins. So you would be running Fire, Ice slash Curse and Bless twins as your main DPS. Now, if that's the case, you're going to have to change around your persona rotations a little bit. In which case, you're going to have to run Ex Machina here with Sandalphon as your starter persona so that you get the almighty amp from the dagger. Now, you're also going to be running Dionysus for the crit rate and Cert for the AoE defense shred. Now, you can also run Vishnu as well with like Magarudyne, but you're going to have to pray that he inflicts Windswept on all the enemies using Magarudyne, which is kind of a gamble. So at that point, just use Cert, Dionysus, and of course make sure Sandalphon is your starter persona since you want the almighty amp. And once you do Sandalphon skill 1, you want to target that onto your A1 twin sweepers so that they get the damage amp from Sandalphon S1. But TLDR, if you're running the Wonder DPS route, you always want Wonder last and Cord third. Everything else before that doesn't really matter. As for the DPS Twins route, of course, Twins wants to be first and Cord wants to be third. And again, anything before that really doesn't matter. But good luck on your first purple Stella. Let's get right into it. Ikaze. Alrighty, boys. Now that you've passed that Lord Stella, let's talk about the first right Guardian Stella. So with this stage, you just want to run a single target DPS. In this case, everyone has Ryuji, but the caveat here is don't run this team unless you have a high awareness Ryuji. If your Ryuji is low awareness, I would substitute in Soy or some sort of strategist for Mont slot. But in this case, since I'm a A7 Ryuji haver, I can practically one-shot each enemy every time whenever God Hand Burst is active. So let's go ahead and describe you the roles of this team. So Leon is obviously going to be our main support slash buffer. Ryuji is going to be the main DPS. Mont is going to be just your sub DPS, you know, the chip damage DPS. And Rico really here is just for the extra down effects so that we can deal extra damage with our 1-mores. As for Wonder Persona goes, you really just want to use Chernobog. Since Chernobog is really great for inflicting physical damage taken, you can also inherit Tarukaja on him as well, since Ryuji doesn't really want crit rate, since he already gets the guaranteed crit. And then we're going to be using Dominion for cohesion, so whenever it's God Hand Burst rotation, we just proc cohesion, and Ryuji does big PP damage. And when it's the third to last turn, you can always just use Yanoshik's Rakunda to inflict mark and a defense down on the boss. As for turn rotations go, you just want Ryuji going last, and Leon and Wonder or Mont just going straight before him. And yeah, without further ado, boys, let's go ahead and take down this easy peasy stage. Ikuzo. Alrighty, boys, let's go ahead and talk about the second right side Guardian Stella right before the Fate Stella. So, this team, again, if you read it, you want to use one of the OG Thieves of Hearts from 5. In this case, Ryuji on Joker, right, are some options that you can run. But in this case, since I have A7 Ryuji, I just one-tap each enemy every time I have God Hand Burst on duration. But if you can't do that and you still want to run the Ryuji team, just slot out Sepia for Soy, or just another Saboteur. In this case, Vino can work here as well, or you can put in another strategist, whatever you feel like. But TLDR, it's the same persona rotations, right? You're going to be using Chernabog, right, with his S1. And again, Ryuji doesn't need crit rate, so you can inherit Tarakaja on Chernabog. Cohesion on Dominion whenever God Hand Burst is active, so you can do big PP damage. And Yanosik to inflict mark 1 turn in the fight. But trust me, this fight is even easy if you don't have high awareness Ryuji. Low awareness on can probably still clear. Joker, right? Even the Yusuke team can clear it quite fine. But I wanted to get this fight over with, so I ran the Ryuji team. As for turn order, you really just want Ryuji going last, as he is your main DPS. But other than that, boys, enough yap. Let's finish this right Guardian Stella. Ikuze. Okay, boys, congratulations on making it to Big Daddy Fate Stella. You've earned it, and this stage isn't so bad. You have 2 options, by the way. You can run the On team, which has 2 variants, or the CNY Matoi team, which capitalizes off of the technical passive of this stage itself. Now, with the On team, your first variant is obviously key on if you don't have a cord left. So you can also run that with medic / strategist twins. Another thing you can do is, say for example, if you still can run cord, you can do like On with cord / medic / strategist twins. Now keep in mind, if you are running the cord variant, you want cord going third, On going last, and of course On always wants to go last in the party. Now for the second team that I mentioned, CNY, Rin, and Matoi are very good here if you can take advantage of the technicals. Right? Of course, Rin wants to go last, main DPS and all, but Wonder rotations for personas are quite easy too. You're just going to be using Dio for Rebellion. Throne is to inflict burns and to amp up On's or Rin's damage. As for Baphomet, that's just a AoE fire damage taken debuff persona. Wonder Dagger wise, you can use a mixture of, let's say, Ex Machina with like a fire persona starter, Purgatory, or in this case, I went with A6, R6 Starry Compass to inflict AoE defense shred, right? Like, it's a very good dagger. But yeah, boys, congratulations again on making it to the stage. I hope you have a comfy run. Ikuze. Oh, right, and I forgot to tell you, but since I didn't clear it in one attempt, I had like 8% remaining on like the first run. I went ahead and used Phoebe as my navigator on run number 2. Now, let's go ahead and get started. Ikaze. Alrighty, boys. So obviously, this stage was kind of meant for Ryuji and Yusuke, being the whole deals more damage if an ally does nothing for one turn. But in this case, I decided to have fun with Shiratori slash Florette. In this case, this is how this team functions. So I have Vino as my main debuffer, Tomoko as my main strategist slash support, and Florette as my main DPS, followed by Okayun, who provided extra buffs to the party. Now, Wonder Persona rotations are quite easy for this team. You're going to be running Vishnu with Wind of Nirvana, Dionysus as per usual for Rebellion, and Yanoshik for the one turn of Rakunda Mark. Now, if you can't do Shiratori here, you can always just run the Yusuke team, or you can just run the Ryuji team with Leon and Soy. And as always, you want Florette to be going last, as he is your main DPS on this comp. Everyone else really doesn't matter before he does. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the run. Ikuze. Alrighty, boys, I'm not gonna lie, this outer right Guardian Stella brings back some crazy PTSD from Season 1 and 2. If you're reading it, it's the whole 2, 3, or 4 allies of the same attribute stage. So in this case, you want to run a mono element team to beat this stage. So you have a lot of options. In this case, I ran the mono bless team with Yuki to just take advantage of the whole, 3 party member passive. Minami is going to be the one mainly buffing Multaha here because she scales off of HP. And Multaha, of course, is going to be our main AoE DPS. And Riko just providing stats and being a navigator. So you do have alternatives if you can't run mono bless like me here. You can run mono curse with Joker and Rin, or you can run mono fire with On and Ki, because those are the most 2 common AoE DPSs in the game. As for turn rotations, as long as closer goes last, anyone before her, it doesn't matter where they go as long as closer is last so that she gets all the buffs. Now, for Wonders Personas, you're going to mainly be running the basic trio. So Cert with Marakunda, Dionysus with Rebellion, and Cohesion on Dominion. And yeah, without further ado, my god, the stage brings back some horrible PTSD. Let's get into the run. Ikuze. Well, boys, this stage screams Mesa stage from the whole continuous damage passive. But don't worry, if you didn't pull Mesa, you can always just run a single target DPS team. Now, I'll go ahead and show you Mesa's team here with his rev cards, daggers, and personas, so I don't leave y'all out of this guide. Now, in my case, I ran the Queen team with Vino as my main debuffer, Twins as my strategist support slash medic, and obviously Futaba as the main navigator. Now, for return order wise, you want Makoto being last, as she is your single target DPS. As for the personas for this team, you're going to want to be running Dionysus with Rebellion, Vishnu using Wind of Nirvana to inflict defense shreds, and lastly, Bishamonten. Make sure he's your starter persona with Ex Machina, so you get the ×2 amp from Ex Machina. But with Bishamonten, we're just going to be using his skill 1 to amp up nuke damage. Now, obviously, since I didn't one attempt clear it, I was literally 10% off, man. That could have been like an A1 twin diff or whatever, but on my second run that I cleared, I used my leftover Ryuji team with Leon as the main strategist and Soy as my debuffer slash pseudo sustain, with Okion as the Navi for extra stats. So there you go. That's how I cleared the purple right Lord Stella. Hopefully y'all get this clear in one attempt and not be like me. But without further ado, let's get into the run itself. Ikuze. Alrighty, boys. So this stage, pretty self-explanatory. Bring a single target DPS for the 60% increase to your damage. In this case, I wanted to have fun with my Florette. So, Soy is going to be my main pseudo sustain / debuffer, and Tomoko 4-star is going to be my main strategist, followed by Okayon, who's just providing stats and being a navigator for the party. In terms of Wonder Personas, you're going to use Dionysus for Rebellion, Vishnu for Wind of Nirvana, and we're going to be using Yanoshik's Rakunda with Tatra for 1 turn during the fight. And let's say if you don't feel like using Florette, you can always just run single target units like Kasumi, 5-star Mon, Mesa, Yui, Makoto Nijima, aka Queen, or heck man, even Ryuji can work here. So just, pick whatever single target you want and get into the fight. Without further ado, boys, let's get this comfy clear. Ikuze. Alrighty, boys. So, with this stage, you're just going to want 2 DPS units. So in this case, I decided to run Joker here and on, with Luffel being my sustain, and Miyu also providing some defensive buffs / shields, because I'm not going to lie, these mobs hit super hard. So Miyu, for once, actually cooked on something other than the Yusuke team. As for speed rotations, it's kind of out of whack since you're kind of using 2 AoE DPS, but whoever is the strongest should be going last. In this case, I decided to make On go last. As for Wonder Personas, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to want to use the trio, the classic trio. So in this case, Cert with Marakunda, Dionysus with Rebellion, and Dominion with Cohesion. Now, I did put Owner of the Phantom as Wonder's Dagger, but ignore that. Just run Ex Machina or whatever you feel like. Starry Compass is also fine too. Just ignore Curse of the Phantom. We don't have that dagger on Global yet. But yeah, boys, enjoy the comfy run until the next Bald. Ikuze. Alrighty, boys. So, obviously, if you read the passive here, you're going to want to bring a Resonance Healing Procer. So, in this case, Mona, or Cat, or Smoko will do the trick. Now, obviously, the easiest and most comfiest team to clear this with is probably Smoko / Haru. Now, if you don't have that option, well, now you're going to have to run the Mona routes. So, with the Mona routes, you could run the A1 DPS Twins route, running their sweeper form with Ice Fire and Bless and Curse. And with that team, you're going to have to run Tempest Rico as your main, strategist / buffer, along with Mona as your main Resonance Procer. And then, obviously, you're going to want to run Futaba as well for the Weakness Implant. Now, with that team, you're going to make sure that you run Ex Machina with Sandalphon so that A, you can get the Almighty Amp with Ex Machina, and you're going to be using Rebellion on Dionysus. And, of course, we're going to be using Dominion with Cohesion on the A1 Twins DPS team. Now, let's say if you don't have A1 Twins, well, here's the third strategy. Third strategy, you're probably not going to be able to get the 1 attempt clear, but it will get you 2 attempts at max. In this case, I'm one of those people. I have Haru, but I'm Smoko-less. So I decided to run Mona as my main Resonance Procer, followed by Cord, who's my main strategist, the buffer, and Haru as the main DPS, followed by Futaba as the navigator. So in this case, you always want to have Haru, A1 Twins going last, since they are your main DPSs. As for the personas for the Haru team, these mobs do hit pretty hard. So I kind of just reduced the RNG by running Sandalphon on this team as well as the A1 Twins DPS team. So we're going to be running Dionysus with Rebellion. Sandalphon is going to be using skill 1, so to mitigate the RNG from the angels targeting you. And lastly, Shiva is going to be using Dance of Destruction to amplify Haru's side damage. So, yeah, boys, you made it to the very end of the video. Congratulations. If you do clear this, consider it a job well done. But I'll talk to you all at the very end of the session. And without further ado, let's get into the final run of this video. Ikuze. Alrighty boys, thank you so much for watching this guide, and hopefully I helped you today. If I did, maybe leave a sub. I'm close to 1K subscribers on YouTube. You know, and if you did press that sub button, it will encourage me to make more guides such as this. But other than that, look forward to some guides down the road this week. The level 30 bossing guide for Sumi's event, a A6 R6 showcase with Kasumi. I have a lot of things planned, y'all, so do look forward to that. And yeah, until next time, y'all, I am tired. I'm gonna hit the hay now. Deuces.